right, second marriages have a much higher divorce rate. We all know that. I mean, it's fact. Here's one of the reasons why. When mom remarries, she can get caught between her kids and her new husband. Now, what do you do if stepdad and a teen daughter just flat cannot stand each other? I mean, they don't kind of like each other. They don't almost like each other. They hate each other. Now, Tory is 17. She's a good student. She's active in church. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't do drugs. But her stepdad calls her a monster. Now, mom says they hate each other, and she wants the fighting at home to stop. Take a look.
Living with Tory is like living with the Antichrist. Tory is extremely disrespectful. Cross her, it'll be the wrath of Tory.
I hate my stepdad.
He'll just yell at me, and Kip will call me names. Kip has called me a bitch. He has told me to go to hell. He has called me a piece of
Absolutely. I've said she's a living, breathing piece of and I've backed that up by saying that there's nothing sweet about her. There's nothing kind, there's nothing giving, there's nothing loving. I'm sorry, but I see absolutely no redeeming qualities in this child. None.
Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. Listen, I'm a dad, and I know you're a dad, but that is the most inappropriate thing I have ever heard a parent say about a child. Are you kidding?
I have never said that to her face to call her that. I have said that to her mother. She has made our life miserable. Absolutely.
Okay, but who are the adults here? You're the adult here. You're the one that provides the leadership. You're the one that says we're going to resolve this in a mature, reasonable way. You don't say that your stepdaughter or any child is a piece of with absolutely no redeeming value as a human being. You don't mean that, Kip. Now tell me you said that in anger and you don't mean that.
I have said that in anger. It's hard for me to point out anything redeeming or good. There's no interest, there's no thankful, there's no graciousness, there's no... It's all me, and yelling and screaming, and it's all about me. To say that I have seen no redeeming qualities is not a lie. To say somebody is a piece of or something like that is overstepping it. That's wrong. I agree.
It is overstepping it.
But to say that I've seen
we'll
no
get to you in a
redeeming
minute,
values
okay?
in somebody...
I'm sorry. This is not a worthless human being. I'm sorry you're having to experience all of this. And look, I'm going to tell you what I think about your role in this in a minute. You may be an entitled, spoiled brat teenager that thinks you got the keys to the world. I get that. We'll talk about that in a minute, and you got a lot of ownership in that. Yes. But what you're saying is not kind of wrong, it's not sort of wrong, it is blatantly inappropriate, it is overstated, and it is abusive to this child.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. You tell me that this child has absolutely no redeeming value. She is a gorgeous young woman. She does well in school. She has friends. She makes a contribution to this world. She
won't show us her report card, so we don't know if she does good in school. I can tell you that she disrespects her mother constantly. No matter what she tries to do for her, she yells and screams, throws stuff back in her face. And it's just totally disrespectful.
I disrespect my mother is because I'm so angry at her. I resent her because of the way she lets you treat me. And I can't get mad and yell at you for it. So I do. I take it out on my mother. And I don't want to anymore. I don't want to have to take it out on my mother because of what you have done to me. We had a perfect relationship before she married you. We were close. We told each other everything. And ever since she's been married to you, I don't know her anymore.
Tory, you and I do not have a screaming relationship. We ignore each other. We don't speak to each other for months on end.
Because when I do speak to you, you blow up at me. You scream. You yell. When I'm telling her what I want for Christmas, you tell her she's not getting me anything for Christmas.
She knows what you think of her and how you feel about her, and that alone is enough to keep her from wanting to talk to you.
She told me that she hated me long before I ever made any comments about that.
No, that is wrong. I told you I hated you, and I do hate you. I told you I hated you after after the fact that you treat me like a piece of You call me a piece of so I do hate you. And I didn't tell you that until after you started treating me the way you do.
All right, question for you. Hold on, because y'all are going back and forth, but I have a question for you. And listen, I am a parent and a grandparent, and I grew up with sisters. I've been in a family. Something is way wrong here. But my question for you is how and why are you allowing this man to treat your daughter in this way? You have no credibility because you're going over the top here. You have
saying
legitimate
that I treat her
complaints.
that way. I don't treat her anyway, Dr. Phil. I ignore her. I don't discipline her because you say that's not the step-parent's job to discipline. I have never gotten into the discipline role.
Does she seem at all confused about how you feel about her? Does she seem vague or ambiguous about
I would say that 2 years ago, she would say she could tell me something she couldn't tell her mother. I've spent years picking her up from school, taking her to school, and we did a lot of things. I've been with Vicky since she was 8 years old. I took her to the pool every day, and we played and did a lot of things.
And then you guys got married, and you turned into a big monster.
All right, listen,
That's not true. She has no interaction with our children.
Because of you. I don't want anything to do with
I don't have any
them.
interaction with you.
Kim, I have an email here that you wrote to your wife. And you say, this morning she pulled her rosemary, on and on. This attitude comes from bad parenting. Yours, letting a 17-year-old brat scream at you for 20 minutes about mustard on her sandwich and then telling her you're sorry. I wanted to come in there and slap the crap out of you, your wife. I'm so sick of this honey, baby, and sweetie, I love you crap. You constantly put on the self-centered, disrespectful, egotistical bitch, and you're only going to make it worse tomorrow. Stop kissing her ass, or I'll sell her car and keep the money for punishment that you can't seem to dole out. That's just first few paragraphs.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that letter. I stand by it completely. You know what?
You probably are right.
You know what? That slap in the crowd. I've never touched her ever, and I've never touched her either. I've never been in a fight in my life. There's no physical anything. This is all verbal. That thing about
when you get to that level of rage, the verbal abuse starts, and that right there was abusive.
But you understood what I said. I felt like slapping the crap out of you because you took all that off her. That doesn't mean that I actually was going to do that. And she knows, both of them know there's no threat of any physical harm here. They both know that.
I don't know that.
You do, Tory. You've lived with me for 8 years.
And I'm scared. Okay, and you get in that rage, and I get scared. I was scared to come out on this show today because of what happens afterwards.
I'm scared of you because because you have made threats against me. I've never touched you. I've never threatened to do anything to you. And I am the caretaker of 2 small children, and you've made a speech to call in state officials to have me registered as some kind of child abuser when I've never even touched you.
I didn't call anybody.
She didn't make that phone call.
Somebody did.
I'm glad you think that it was me, but it wasn't. It was somebody from the outside looking in, fearing for my life.
I'm trying to get you.
Was out of line.
I'm trying to get you to understand that you are the father, you in this family, and I need you to calm down. You say in this letter, I'm about to step in, and it's going to be a nightmare for both of you. I swear, I am sick of it. All of that sweet makes me want to throw up. Stop. Get tough with her. It goes on and on. And again,
this is sitting back and watching this stuff. I do not yell at her. Once every 4 months, I'll explode and yell at her. She acts like I scream and holler at her every day or every week. I don't speak to her for months on end.
You do holler and scream at me every day.
That is not true.
If I'm not in my room,
I go a month without talking to you. A month.
No, a month without talking, not a month without screaming and yelling.
That's not true. That's
Why do you think I go in my room?
That is an absolute lie.
If I'm not in my room, I'm getting screamed at.
Why do you think I'm in my room?
Cookies.
Well, then they're both in our room because I'm hiding from you. You know, I am. I don't have any interaction with her. I don't yell and scream at her. Have I ever? Yes, once or twice. This is not like she's under my wrath every week or every month.
This isn't even to her. It's about her. This isn't to her. I don't want to misrepresent.
That's what I'm saying. I sit back for months at a time with her talking about how Tory's out of line and how disrespectful she is and how horrible she is. But yet every day she's throwing something in her face.
Well,
you know,
step
like
in
a
and say something. You can't butt in and what he's saying. And tell him, tell Dr. Phil that he's lying.
I don't want this. I don't want that.
You have a voice, so start using it.
That's the disrespect she gets constantly. I'm sick of it.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I think Tory is extremely spoiled. Tory has been allowed to control her mother and those around her, and it's created a monster. And I say, Vicky, stop the sweetheart, baby, darling doing for her and try the tough love approach. But Vicky says love wins out in the end, and I'm saying, no, it doesn't. She resents you for being a patsy.
You said her in the real world, beat the crap out of her, fire her, talk about her, talk bad about her with others, diss her, alienate her, or shoot her. Oh, well, someone just couldn't or wouldn't do the right thing and teach her to live by the golden rule.
No, you got that out of context.
Read
I
it.
said in the real world, this is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
I didn't say that's what needs to happen. I said in the real world, if somebody doesn't take care of this behavior, this is what's going to happen when she's an adult and acts like that. Somebody is going to fire her from a job, talk bad about her, or disrespect her, alienate her. In the real world, that's what happens.
In the real
she's
world,
in a family
people
where she's...
talk bad about you because they see at church how bad you treat me. They see out in public you talking about me horribly to people you barely know from our church, that they don't want you and to bring those kids in there. They don't want you to sit and go on and on about how horrible I am.
When I went to the dentist, they told me about how disrespectful you were in front of your mother. She said, I had to correct Tory because I don't stand for that in my youth group or whatever it was. You heard it.
That is not what I heard from someone that was sitting in that dentist's
we're
office.
both getting different
Let me
messages
be
from
very,
different people.
But what makes you think you can go in there and talk about me like that to I'm a stranger that you've met once or twice?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about.
Did you not go into the dentist office and they said, oh, well, how are things going? And you were like, oh, well, my stepdaughter, and just going on and on about how.
No,
Did
she
you didn't do
brought
that?
you up and mentioned that night or whatever where she said something. And she said, I just want to let you know, I corrected Tory because of what she said. And I said, don't tell me, tell her mother about it. I'm not involved in the disciplining of Tory.
That's definitely
And I'm not
what I
involved in the
heard you say.
disciplining of Tory. So I don't tell her what she can and can't do.
No,
but I
you
try
just
to
scream at me and
advise
call me
her.
a piece of and tell me to
Well,
go to
you know
hell.
what? She wrote the letter because she was having a problem with her. So, you know.
With me and you together. She was having a problem with us.
Let me ask a question. Everybody take a deep breath. Seriously, just everybody, not y'all. Talking about you guys. Would you agree, Kip, would you agree that the way you're handling this isn't working?
I agree that my attitude is wrong and disrespectful, okay? I'm not a mean or cruel person. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not in control of dealing with it. So, you know, I talk to her.
You're in control of dealing with you, and there's more involved here than just you. You're not a bad guy. Everybody's thinking because you're yelling and screaming and frustrated with her. It's up to here with you, and you're just like screaming.
That's it.
But it's not working. It isn't working. I mean, you said, I want to build a new house, but I ain't doing it till she's gone.
Right.
How do you think that makes her feel?
Well, she tells us she hates everybody in the family. I hate everybody. I want out of here. I hate this town. I hate my school. I want to go. I want to leave.
What do you expect me to say after you've done all this to me? After you...
You know, I can't sit by and listen to this. I haven't done anything to her.
You did this. You can't listen to what you've done.
You're an adult. You're an adult. She's 17. I expect for you.
You know what?
To have a more
95% of the yelling and screaming is between her and her mother. And it's not about me and the way I treat her. It's about her sandwich or her car or her attitude or not getting her out of school or whatever.
Because
90% of the arguments have nothing to do with me.
Because she is so fed up.
Why do I get all the blame?
She doesn't feel safe and loved in her own home. That's why she's acting
So
out.
all her acting out,
No,
even before
I'm not
I came
saying it's
along,
your
had
fault.
nothing to do with
What do you
her.
mean before you came along?
You were like
She
that
was
from the
9
very
years
beginning.
old, Kip. She wasn't acting out at 9 years old.
Well, that's not the way I recall it.
How? It's before you came along, so how would you know?
I was there from when you were 8 years old on. And you were a spoiled brat at 8 years old to then. Manipulating, controlling. You can't even you don't get
Are you
along
gonna
with your
step
own
in?
father either. Is it just me, or is it everybody you've lived with? You went and lived with a couple that you couldn't stand your father. So this couple, this well-to-do couple, took you in and bought into the poor little Tory routine, and then they dropped you off back at your dad's 2 months later and wrote us a letter talking about what a nightmare and controlling person you were. So it's not just me. Okay? I don't care what the audience thinks. They know people like this, and they know what it's like.
We're not holding an election here. I don't care what the audience thinks. The only person that I'm focused on right now is you, because if you don't say, okay, Dr. Phil, if you can give me a more constructive way to handle this, then I'm willing to try it and embrace it. If you're going to keep yelling and screaming and defending the fact that you consider her to be a worthless human being with no redeeming value, then you are going to seal the fate of this family and this marriage.
I'm not yelling and screaming that she has no redeeming value. I'm yelling and screaming that I shouldn't be taking all the blame for her attitude and unhappiness. I'm not responsible for 30% of it.
No,
okay?
but you're responsible
I'm more than
for
willing.
how you respond to it, Kip, and that's why I'm here.
All right,
You don't respond
let's take a
well.
break, and then I want to hear from you. Next, the fight between this teen and the stepdad that the police had to break up. Did she go too far this time? Did he get a bad rap in this deal? We'll talk about that when we come back. Then I want to start putting some verbs in my sentences about what needs to happen here to calm this down for everybody. We'll be right back. Well, one night, the arguing between Tory and her stepdad, Kip, got so bad that the police were called to break this up. Take a look, and then we'll talk about it.
12 o'clock midnight, and I was asleep on the couch, 10 feet from Tory's door.
I could hear the snoring from all the way in my bedroom. It woke me up, and I was really ticked. I slammed my door.
I just lifted my head up and I said, Tory, what are you going off about?
And then he just went off in this rage and was like, I'm gonna kill you, I hate you, go to hell, you stupid piece of shit. You're such a bitch.
She's standing right there by me yelling and screaming, you son of a bitch, because I'm snoring.
I'm telling her to get in her room and close the door and trying to hold him back at the same time, and it was a little frightening.
And my mom said, Tory, you have no idea what kind of state he's in right now. It's gonna get bad. And I was like, then I'm gonna call the cops. So I did.
4 days later, Vicky informs me that Family Services needs to talk to us.
When I told him that they were coming out, was completely enraged.
The Division of Arkansas and Family Services has determined that I am guilty of an allegation of suspected child maltreatment. As a result of this 17-year-old screaming and yelling at me while I'm laying on the couch, I have to put my name in a registry as maltreatment to a minor.
This situation has just torn me apart. They both want me to choose one or the other, and I can't. I'm completely stuck in the middle.
I want her out of the house completely. It's non-negotiable.
Well, Kip is required to register with the Department of Human Services now. Child maltreatment investigation notice, January 11th, 2011. Allegations, suspected child maltreatment. Investigative agency determined the allegation was true. So that means your name is placed on a child maltreatment central registry, and the type of maltreatment was threat of harm.
Mm-hmm. And I had a wisdom tooth pulled earlier that day, oral surgery. I'm laying on the couch asleep at midnight. I wasn't in there yelling and screaming at her. She was standing over me yelling and screaming.
No. Wait a second. 20 minutes before he was laying on this couch sleeping, he was up in the living room with his friend Matt, who had been over drinking beers, having drinks with Matt. Matt was trying to explain to him that when he married my mom, I was a package deal, and that he needed to act like I was part of the family and all this stuff. And Kip was telling Matt that he didn't want anything to do with me. He hated me. He wanted me out of the house. And I heard this all from my bedroom. I could hear everything that was going on. So I went to sleep. I woke up, and he was snoring on the couch. I went straight to my mom. I said, if you think that I can sleep with him sleeping on that couch, then you've lost your mind. He needs to get up. And I went back to my door. I went back in my bedroom, and I slammed the door. And when I slammed the door, it woke him up off the couch. And he started saying, he said, "What's that piece of bitch bitching at now?"
No, she was yelling, "You son of a bitch" at me. I
No,
was still asleep on the
Stephen.
couch.
Well, the investigation said it was true. What you did, I assume you're going to appeal that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to put your name on a registry of child abuse for a screaming argument, even between you and your stepdaughter.
Well, and everybody may think I'm crazy when I say this. I think your behavior is totally inappropriate. I think it is completely over the top. I think it needs to change. But registering you on a national child abuse database seems to me to be inappropriate. That shouldn't happen. I'm sorry that happened to you, and I hope that you do appeal that, and I hope that you do get that fixed, and I don't support you being registered there at all. That's as inappropriate as your behavior, but you're going to change your behavior. I know it. I know it because I'm going to haunt you.
Well, you know, and I don't want to go on like this. Look, I love Vicky more than anything in the world. And it hurts her that we have this relationship. I don't want to do anything to hurt her. You know, we have 2 small children who this is half their sister, whatever you want to call that relationship. So, you know, well, you know what I mean. Stepsister, half sister, whatever. So, you know, obviously the relationship needs to get better. But, you know, so far I've been the target of this, and I'm telling you, there's a lot more to it than that.
Look, I didn't just come in on a load of turnips, okay? I understand how infuriating.
All I've seen is you looking at me telling me how over the top I am, you know?
That's because you're over the top.
Well, I agree. I have reason to be.
No, you don't. You do not have reason to be. That's the reason that I'm continuing to talk to you and haven't even gotten to her or her yet, because I haven't seen any kind of acknowledgement or light bulb come on over your head. You are the adult. It is not appropriate for you to get down at a childlike level and get in a name-calling, demeaning, condescending, yelling match to her or about her to her mother. That is inappropriate. You're letting the frustration well up in you. You need to handle this more maturely, more constructively.
I acquiesce.
Thank you. All right. We'll be right back.
Kip has no reason to hate me. I never did anything to him but try to get his attention. He would tell me that things were better when I wasn't around and that all their problems are my fault. It is a very cruel thing to say. In a perfect world, I wish that my mom had never married Kip.
Are you protecting her?
No.
Why?
Well, that's why I wrote in, because I feel like I'm constantly in protective mode and I can't parent. I've tried to explain that to him. Unless she feels safe and loved in her home, any discipline that I try to provide is only going to come across as more, you know, pushing her away. Dr. Phil, I know I'm failing, and that's why I'm here, because I know I failed.
Well, you've done the right thing in writing in, and I kind of just try to get right to the bottom line chasing here. Your job is to protect your child. If she can't be safe in the home with him, then he's got to go or y'all have to go.
I know that.
So, just that simple. Now, I don't think he's that one-dimensional. I don't think you're that one. I think he's just gotten so frustrated that he's just like howling at the moon. He's just screaming because he doesn't know what else to do. But there are lots of other things to do. There are things that we can do to improve this. But make no mistake, there is no divided loyalty here. If it is a choice between your child or your husband is on the curb. I mean, it's not even a close call. That's your job. I didn't give you that job. I didn't give you that job. That's just the job, whether it's this child or your other 2 children.
I told him before all of this happened, before that incident occurred where she called the police, that she's my daughter and I have got to protect her. And you need to make a phone call and set yourself up for counseling.
But what?
Or I've got to go. I mean, it can't continue the way that it is. That's
what
exactly
happened-
where I was.
But where were you when you actually wrote the letter that night? What happened to make you write in that night? Okay.
Tory and I had an argument, and she was being extremely defiant. It got to the point where I slapped her, and she slapped me back.
And I'm in another room
And at
because
that
I know I
point-
can't be involved.
I know that there are issues.
Wait a minute.
She's a
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
teenager, and I know that there are issues, but
But I walked in and told her it could just as easily right now be you that would be signing that registry and have the complaint against you because their argument was 10 times worse than mine and Tory's.
I get that.
You threatened to kill me. You said, I'm gonna kill you. I'm really gonna kill you. And you were serious.
Oh, please.
If she hadn't been there holding you back, I don't see what would have been stopping you from really getting physical. That's why she told me, go ahead and call
Well,
the cops.
I didn't get
Because it
physical
can
with you.
She
She
said,
slapped you.
Okay,
She said, it can
hold
get
on.
physical real quick.
Now,
That was her words when you
you
threatened
were-
to kill me.
Well, after
You were
8
out of
years,
this
after
discussion
8
for a
years,
minute, and then you pulled yourself back in.
I just want you to know it could have just as easily that night been the child services with her and not me because I was in the back room watching TV.
I didn't call
And
child services.
I
though.
didn't have anything to do with this argument. So me being the problem, it would have happened with me there or not. Okay.
Do you really think that I'm so naive that I don't get that?
Well, I just think you think I'm 90% responsible, and it would happen. They're saying, it's the resent for you and this, that, and the other. It would happen if I wasn't there.
I have no doubt about that. But you wanted back in this conversation, so here we are. I'm going to say this again. You're saying that I think you're 90% of the problem here. I don't think that. I think you are 100%.
killing me,
listen.
Phil.
I
You're
think
killing
you
me.
are 100% of your problem.
Okay.
You are 100% of what you bring to this situation. That's good news and bad news. The good news is your problem's all about you. The bad news is your problem's all about you. So that means the only person you've got to change in this is you. I'm going to deal with this in a minute. There's no question here that this relationship within this family is dysfunctional at so many levels, it's like a Rubik's Cube of toxicity. We'll be right back. Now, let me talk to you for a minute. Are you spoiled?
I really don't think I'm spoiled. She doesn't buy me anything. She doesn't get me anything. I have my own source of money. I get everything for myself. I do everything for myself
Did she buy you a car last summer?
with my dad's money.
Yeah, she bought you the car though, right?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's
You
nice.
appreciated it that
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
But then you complained about it.
No, not right away. I just said that. It's not that I was complaining about it. I just wanted to trade it in for like a new model. Is that bad? Or like a new car because I like an SUV, something bigger. Is that really that bad?
she wants me to have payments on it for her.
I want to have payments. I want to make it with my own money.
Okay, I'm just wasting time doing this because you are insisting on me building a case that you have a bit of an entitled attitude. Did you slap your mother? Mm-hmm. Do you have report cards that you won't show to them?
I lost it, and I told her that I would go up to the office and get her a new one.
When was the last time you showed me a report card, Tory?
She goes back and forth. She doesn't want to know. She wants to give me
No,
my space.
I do want to know.
You
I
just
tried
said.
to give you some space because of the problems.
Okay, let me cut to the chase scene here. A child who gets up on their hind legs and slaps their mother in the face. A child who says, oh, nice car, I want a new car, please, thank you. I'm not going to show you my grades, give me my space. That's spoiled. So that's my definition of spoiled. Now I have a long list of things that I can go through here, but you're going to lose because that's spoiled. Do you think it's appropriate to cuss at your mother? Do you think it's becoming to you as a young woman to do that, to be saying those things and yelling and screaming?
No.
Do you think it's appropriate to slam your door and tell people to leave you alone and you'll do what you want when you want to? No. We teach people how to treat us. And I don't know if you've overcompensated because you felt guilty about the divorce, or you've tried to come around and pat everything down and make it okay because you're trying to offset his critical attitude about her, so you just try to love her up and just think that that's just going to propel her to the next level or whatever. But you know, that's not the way to proceed in this. You know, we've got to be realistic here, and everybody has to say, you know what, this is just spun out of control, and everybody needs to calm down, and everybody needs to say, Dr. Phil, tell me what I can do different to make this situation peaceful and healthy so we can get on with our lives.
Exactly.
And we'll talk about that when we come back. Kip is the stepfather, Tory is the stepdaughter, Vicky is the mom caught in the middle of name-calling, allegations of abuse, and even physical fights in what I think is a family of very nice individuals that have found a way to come together in a toxic and flammable fashion. And you two need to sit down and have an understanding that, you know, you're in this life together. You're her mother, and you're going to be so important to her. You know, she'll be gone soon. She'll be off and all that, and you just become a long-distance parent then. She's going to be facing other decisions, and you're going to need to be a very important part of those.
Something that she said to me a week or two ago that just destroyed me. Something was going on, and I said, yeah, but I'm your mother. And she says, no, you're not. You used to be my mother, and you're not anymore.
You know why she says it.
Yes, I do.
Things were rocking along great, and all of a sudden, you bring him in, then you have a couple of munchkins, so all of a sudden now she's one of 4 out there, and one of those 4 is really critical. So she's saying, you're not my mother anymore. You've switched teams. You're on Team Kip. You have these, whatever you call them, half-sisters, step-sisters, whatever it was you said.
I
which
just
was,
couldn't think of the proper term.
You certainly sounded condescending. At that point, you kind of feel like you've been betrayed, right? I mean, it's kind of like she checked out on you. She's not nearly as engaged. But you want her engaged, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to trust her. You want her to know she's got your back. And you want her to know that she's going to be there for you if you get crossways with somebody, including him, right? But in the meantime, you've got to stand down. If you're so smart, if you've got this figured out so well, if this letter that you, by God, stand by every word of, is such a brilliant and eloquent diatribe, then how come your family's so far off in the ditch?
I just get overly frustrated. Like I said, I am not in the middle of it. I sit back and watch, and then I get fed up.
You're a huge factor here, and I'm just saying,
No, yeah.
if this is so right, then how come everything's so wrong? That ought to tell you that you've got to change what you're doing. I guarantee you, I could go out here on the 101 and stop a car at random and ask their parenting philosophy, and it would be better than the one you're using here.
I agree. I don't know the answer. I'll tell you right now, I don't know the answer, and I'm certainly not doing something
But are
right.
you willing to acknowledge that what you're doing is not the answer?
Yes.
Are you willing to acknowledge that things that you have said about her and or to her or in her hearing of her being a worthless piece of and a human being with no redeeming value is utterly inappropriate and completely inaccurate?
Yes.
Then you should apologize to her for that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
for saying that.
mean it, Kip. I mean, that's wrong.
No,
it's just wrong. You're a man. You need to man up and apologize.
I sincerely apologize for that. I do. You are a human being with qualities and talents, and we just don't get along, that's all. We frustrate each other to the point of saying things.
Are you sorry that you have hurt her?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry I hurt her. I'm sorry I hurt my wife. And I admit it overreacting.
You have legitimate complaints. I went over some of those. I mean, kids sometimes can be very frustrating. And some of his criticisms of the way you are managing the situation are spot on. They're poorly delivered, inappropriately articulated, and hurtfully applied. but he's got a point, okay? So
And
you
I
need.
told him, if, I need his help, I need his support in order to better parent her. I can't come to him and tell him that there's been a problem and get his advice and talk to him and get some support, because all I get
Is this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the verbal version of this, which isn't helpful. People, when you start that, rah, 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 then people just shut their ears off and go into fetal position until you burn out, shut up, or leave. It doesn't help. So that's why we got to communicate differently here. But I'm going to help you guys with that. You need to do a better job here. Do you want to be away from this family for a time? I mean, because I work with one of the most scenic, beautiful schools. It's in the mountains. It's a therapeutic boarding school that you work out issues. Absolutely gorgeous. I've talked to them about you, and they would love to offer you a scholarship to come there and finish up your schooling if you would like to. And that's, and you don't.
Can I go?
You don't, actually, yes. You would be involved in this. But that's something that, and I'm not asking you to make that decision right now, but I'm telling you that that's available to you. It'd be like going to college a year early, but it may be something you want to do. I mean, what does that sound like to you when you?
Maybe.
Okay, it's totally up to you. I'm not even suggesting that you go. I'm just saying if you wished there was someplace safe and constructive that you could be for a period of time, however long that period of time was, you do have somewhere to go if you feel trapped, okay? You can make up your own mind, whatever you want to do. And if you decided that that was something you wanted to do, then all the costs are covered. And so it's just a gift we would like to offer the family as an option. But that's your call as long as it's okay with them. So think about it. We'll talk to you about it. You need some help.
I've heard that. I'm a high-strung person, but I'm listening to you and I'm calming down.
Well, high-strung and jerk are not the same thing.
I
You don't
can
want to be a
both.
jerk. No, but you
No,
don't want to do that.
No.
Will you take some help here?
Absolutely.
Have we made some progress?
Yes.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.